The new MV Augusta F4 312R. Its name says it all. MV Augusta is one of the most storied marks in the motorcycle world, and 312 is its top speed in kilometers. That's 193 miles an hour, the fastest production sport bike ever built when you twist the throttle. The Schirano region of Varese, Italy, is home to the corporate headquarters and engine plant for MV Augusta. The original design for the MV four-cylinder was in part engineered by Ferrari, and like Ferrari, MV heats the aluminum cylinder head in what they jokingly refer to as a high-tech pizza oven. The MV recipe calls for 1 hour at precisely 374 degrees, which expands the metal ever so slightly. The result is a perfect installation and fit for the engine valve guides.
The cylinder head casting is heated, the guide slips in easy, and when it cools it's locked in place, and this machine is actually placing the valve guides into the cylinder head at the moment. This is the final quality control check. This machine is going over different measurements. It's basically a multi-dimensional axis. It has a ball point on the end. Basically, that point has gone over every nook and cranny and is building a 3D model. That 3D model has to match the CAD drawing so that they know that that thing matches exactly what that machined piece was supposed to be.
The laser measuring machine is accurate down to 1 micron. That's 1/25,000th of an inch, or 75 times thinner than a single strand of human hair, too small to be seen by the naked eye. In all, there are 9 separate workstations along the engine assembly line.
In this area, basically, there's the sub-assembly of the cylinder head, the final assembly of the springs, valves, the connecting rods, and the sub-assembly for the transmission, or the cassette-style gearbox, which is unique to the MV Augusta.
What makes the gearbox unique is that it can be removed from the bike in one piece, making it much easier to change gear ratios for different track or riding conditions.
There's no time check. Basically, every person is given ample time to do his job.
From start to finish, it takes 11 hours to build an MV Augusta engine, and the last half hour is always spent on a test bench, with the engine running at every speed from idle to redline. Finished engines are trucked cross-town to the Casaneta factory, the place where final assembly for all MV Augusta motorcycles takes place, including the $120,000 F4cc model, a limited edition bike where CC stands for Claudio Castiglione, the president of the company. The first thing they do on the final assembly line is to give each new motorcycle its own vehicle identification number. They use what amounts to a dot matrix computer printer, except this machine prints on steel. A special clear coat sealer is applied over the new engraving and then stickers added. There's one final check to make certain that all the VIN numbers are the same VIN number. With that necessary formality completed, it's time to build the bike.
The second very important phase is the first assembly with the primary componentry, the sub-assembly, the rear tail section, swing-arm componentry, prior to the frame mounting.
Quella che abbiamo visto fino ad ora è la fase di prelinea.
Now the engine mounted in the chassis with the rear subframe and swing-arm assembly goes on the real beginning of the assembly line chain. Also, following the engine and chassis assembly is a cart with the remaining components that have to be mounted to that VIN number.
That cart will follow the new bike down the rest of the line. The carts were a new idea designed by engineers from Porsche and were installed at MV about a year ago. The goal is improved efficiency without sacrificing quality. The cart system also allows remarkable flexibility. At MV, they can build whatever model they want whenever they want it.
We can mix one Brutale, one F4, one Claudio Castiglioni. In principle, In principle.
16 minutes at 16 different stations on the final assembly line. Now it will take 4.5 hours to build just one MV Augusta.
L'apparenza dice che le prime fasi.
The beginning phases of the assembly line has the larger, more complicated pieces to mount. The end of the assembly line looks like there's less work, but that less work is not much less work. It is more detailed work where they start to line up the items, make sure they're all in their right position, tie it together, tighten down everything that needs to be done, and second check everything.
Sì, è molto semplice. Riceviamo le ruote.
At this phase, the rear wheel is mounted to the chassis assembly, to the axle. Nuts are then installed with safety clips after being torqued to specifications.
Each completed bike is then put through its paces in what they call the rolling chassis room. For most companies, this would be the last step in the process, but not at MV Augusta, where creating a motorcycle is forever linked with personal pride and passion.
Proprio l'ultimissima fase che viene in questo.
The motorcycle is ready technically to ship, but there is one more cold quality control, where the motorcycle has sat, and now after not being seen for the entire assembly process, one last check, another person, another set of eyes.
The result are motorcycles seemingly built to perfection, and that translates into remarkable performance. The MV Augusta F4 312R, the fastest production sport bike in the world. A motorcycle just waiting for you to climb on board and twist the throttle.